Planning your week could be one of the most important things that you do this year. And it starts by making sure that you understand what your goals are. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can effectively plan your week so you can be more intentional and more purposeful with your results. If you don't know who I am already, my name is Michael Tabirade, coach and mentor, and I help self-starters and millennials align to their higher core values, creating more happier moments. Now, for me personally, it makes sense to make sure that if I am making sure that I develop any sort of weekly plan, it is aligned to some sort of higher plan. There's always a higher game or achievement that I'm trying to go for. And so what I usually do is have a high level idea of what I want my year to look like. Now, for many of us, we're experiencing COVID-19, the pandemic, and all these different things that are happening in the world. So you can't always exercise and understand whether your plans are actually going to fruition, whether these things happened or not. But with that in mind, a plan can steer your energy towards being more creative in terms of what you need to be focusing on, regardless of whether this stuff is happening. So what I'm going to do is throw in some tips in terms of things that you may need to consider when it comes to planning your week. So the first thing you may want to do is write down a brain dump or brainstorm of all the different things that you think that you need to do. And so what this does is it gets the creative juices going and it gets your mind to start thinking about what you want to start prioritizing. So to help you prioritize some of your goals, you may want to use the Eisenhower matrix. And so this is an effective way of understanding how to prioritize different tasks and activities. And I use this quite a lot with my coaching clients. And so there is important and then there's urgent. So again, if it's urgent and important, you need to do that first. If it's important but not that urgent, then maybe you want to focus on planning and scheduling that for another time. If it is urgent but not important, maybe you want to delegate that to somebody else, or maybe think about technology that can help you do that in the future, okay? And then also, if it's not urgent and if it's not important at all, then you need to forget it or delay it. Sometimes we need those things to relax and chill, but again, we got goals to achieve out here, do you know what I mean? So focus on doing what is necessary. What I'd like to also add to that is that I don't consciously do this all the time. You know, I intuitively kind of know what is urgent and important based on what I need to do for my goals. So if that's enough for you, that's fine. But if it's hard for you to make a decision, maybe you want to use a Jamboard and develop this Eisenhower matrix in order for you to prioritize what your tasks are. And again, it'd be silly for me not to say this. I talk about this extensively in my book, The Power of Goals. So check it out if you haven't got it already. Once you've done your brain dump, then what you need to do is categorize things in terms of recurring, one-time events, temporary events, irregular events, and reminders. So when you do this, you start to develop structure and you start to create predictability, because this is what we want. Planning your week enables you to create a sense of predictability so you can be more effective and more productive based on some of the stuff I spoke about in the last video. Once you have these categories, then you can block out all the reoccurring stuff so you can quite clearly see on your calendar what it is that you're going to be focusing on or what you have to do regularly. So this could be work, could be exercise, could be some sort of volunteering activity that you do every single week. Make sure you block that out. And I didn't even state what calendar you could use. Again, there's no rule to this. Use what you're comfortable using. For me, I personally like to use Google Calendar. Okay, so I block everything out there and I like to use the colors in a different way. So some people may like to use colors for specific things. Some people may like to use colors for how they feel about that personal activity. And so think creatively about what makes sense for you. Now, once you've put this stuff into your calendar, you may want to look at your week view and really understand, have I really allocated the right timings to these things? And if you don't know that straight up front, maybe what you want to do is try it out in order to see if it works. Because if you try it out, then you'll get a better idea if it actually does work. So focus on trying it out, or at least check to see based on experience to see if there's something that is realistic and practical for you. Now, the next thing to consider is also if you have any meetings, okay? So you may have blotted this out in terms of the list that you generated. Now, when I actually have meetings with individuals, I like to do a number of things. Number one, if it's a video conference that we're doing, I'll set up Google Meet on there. Or if you're using Zoom, maybe that's what you want to use. Number two, I'll also make sure that I send them a calendar invite of that actual invite on Google Calendar. So I'll ask for their email as well. Number three, I'll put down any notes that I think are important to the integrity of the meeting. And number 4, I'll add any Google Maps location so it's easier when it comes to going to that place. So I'm very organized when it comes to stuff. Even if I don't know you, I'll ask for your email address so I can attach it to the Google Calendar as well. Again, if you don't know already, I'm a huge fan of Google products. So I integrate everything onto my devices, and I make sure that if it's connected on my phone, it's connected to my tablet, X, Y, and Z. But obviously I filter things so it doesn't become annoying, but I also want to use technology to remind me to do different things. So think about ways in which you can actually prompt yourself or remind yourself through technology in order to make you be more effective. And if it's not technology, maybe you want to ask your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your siblings, your mother, your father, whoever it is, to help you move and transition towards the activities that you need to achieve, especially if you're using a physical diary as well. Now, again, as I stated in my previous video, I use Trello in order to make sure I track everything. And so my Trello board and my Google Calendar is actually linked, okay? And when I say linked, I mean what I refer to on my Google Calendar, I may refer to on my Trello board. Now, it's not always the same stuff, okay? There are a lot of what I call block activities in my Google Calendar, but on my Trello is my day-to-day stuff. So Trello becomes really important when it comes to flexibility and being maneuverable in terms of what it is that I need to do. Now, as I said in previous videos, what I like to do is review my week. Am I being integral? Am I being authentic? Am I doing the things I said I was going to do long after the feeling was gone with the stuff that I said I wanted to do? And so thinking about that in mind, reviewing your week, maybe on a Sunday, may be an important thing. In addition to that, it's also important to state that I may use my accountability buddy to help me review and plan my week as well. And so that's what becomes really useful in making sure that there is productivity in what I'm doing. So to help you on this journey, obviously it's important to understand that motivation also plays some part in making sure that you actually develop your week plan, you're productive, you stick with your habits and everything else that has been discussed before. So in next week's video, I'm going to be focusing on how to stay motivated. If you want to check out that video, click the notification bell, make sure to subscribe, and you'll definitely be hearing from me very soon. Take care, God bless, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.